I realised where I've been going wrong with this, because I've been doing these silly campaigns that actually mean nothing to anybody. Whereas what people really want us to do is to fight for a cause, isn't it? They want us to do something that is meaningful, that's going to make a difference in the world. And I think I have got the campaign that is going to get people wanting to support it, finally.
Welcome to the Inane Campaign podcast, where every week Mark Rowe and me, Andy Gleeks, delve into the weird and wonderful flip side of Change.org's online petitions, seeing what lunacy lurks therein, and then inspired by that, we conjure up our own madness with our own inane campaigns. Then we post them on Change.org, we go head to head, and we run around the internet seeing who can gather the most support for their silliness. You're very welcome. I'm here with my good friend, of course, Mark Rowe. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, mate. How's you?
I am very well indeed. Are you ready to throw down again this week, Mark?
Do you know what? I'm ready for the battle. There's been a lot of exciting things going on with the Inane campaigns this week. A couple of days ago, I launched a Reddit for inane campaigns, and we've got quite a lot of people who are already joining in the fun on there, looking at basically all I'm doing with that is listing all of the campaigns that we talk about on here, put links to them on Reddit, and people can see what they like and what they think is funny and join in if they want to. It's been a lot of fun.
You have been busy. I love that. What would we call our fan base? Are they inane campaigners or inaners?
Inaners? Do you think?
I like inaners. I think one word is catchy. Inane campaigners, too big. Inaners.
And the good thing about it is we can take those campaigns and we can put them all over Reddit on other threads as well. My campaign last week was all about getting Taylor Swift to run as president, to put Kanye back in his place and make sure that he doesn't get into office. And obviously on Reddit, there's loads of pages that are all about Taylor Swift and loads of fans on there. I have to say, though, I got a little bit stopped in my tracks by lots of them not taking too kindly to me putting things about Taylor Swift being president. I think they thought that I was mocking them.
I still think you should marshal your sick form bot army, though.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared of that. It's a proper job, and I'm not sure that my proper serious teaching job and looking after sick formers who are trying to find their way in the world need to be corrupted by our silliness.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you were so desperate for support one week that you thought that you should probably just disrupt people's study plans.
Well, it was partly that, and also because we've been in lockdown, I have to email my whole year group twice a week. And quite honestly, I was running out of things to say to them of just, make sure you're working hard, make sure you're getting things in on time. I was like, no, support these campaigns. That's what you should be doing with your time.
I'm going to put myself in your shoes. I'm going to very badly try and do your accent and what you sound like to me, punching up that email. I know you should be busy revising for your A-levels, but you wouldn't mind helping me salvage some self-esteem, getting on that laptop and putting an absolute shift in. I'm just going to email you a link for an online petition about Taylor Swift beating Kanye West to the US presidency.
Yeah, what I've discovered from that is that in your head, I sound like Rodney off Only Fools and Horses. So,
sorry, mate. That's just how all English people sound to me, I'm afraid. And I'm sure in your head, I just sound like the voice from the 80s news when they blacked out Jerry Adams's face.
That's who I thought I was talking to. I thought that was you.
That's why you've got me on a podcast. You're essentially just scared and you don't know how to tell me to stop.
Well, it does make me slightly concerned about what kind of campaigns you're going to run in the future.
If you were listening last week, we had the whole issue of financial doping. And this week, I kicked the habit of my monetary ephedrine. Because I watched the podcast back last week and I was giddy at points. Like Maradona at the 94 World Cup, I was running up to my laptop camera screaming because I was high on financially assisted victory. It brought great shame upon me as a Catholic. So I've been saying Hail Marys as penance all week.
Good. So you should. This week basically started strongly for me. I think what had happened was I had tapped into something that my wife is interested in. Accidentally. She's a big fan of Taylor Swift, and she thought that this was a great idea that Taylor Swift should run for president, and started messaging her mates and telling them that they should get behind this campaign. And I got, half a dozen signatures within hours and thought, this is it. I'm going to take off. You were on one for ages, and then all of a sudden something changed, and I'm still intrigued to know what that was, because you're telling me that you kept your money in your pocket this week. So what did you do?
I am proud of myself, and I think Jesus would be too if he existed. I did this week clean. No financial doping. In the week that Man City proved that money can get you out of any situation, I feel as pure and as wholesome as an innocent smoothie, Mark. I could have got the wallet out again and sat in a bath of spaghetti, eating biscuits like some sort of decadent Roman emperor while having the house redone by a decent plasterer. But I had to get busy again now that my money isn't working for me. Last time I looked, I got 19, which is equal to my best show of unaided support in week one. I am over the moon, my friend.
Where did these 19 petition signatures come from?
Where did they come from? Great question. So my campaign last week was free Joe Exotic from Netflix show Tiger King and make him Kanye's running mate. So I ended up with 19 supporters, and I'm going into the metrics again this week, Mark. I feel like this could be similar to Paragliding Bono, this statistics fella that appears every week. Maybe he can be a character.
I got very excited about Paragliding Bono this week, by the way, when I was at my friend's house having a bit of a barbecue and looked up, and there was a paraglider just going across the sky in front of us, and I thought, there he is! Bono's actually with us!
You sent me that picture through. I was loving that. Like, here he is. He's jumped out of our brains, and he's now live and living in Milton Keynes. But this numbers geek, I don't know, what could we call him? We couldn't call him Stato because that's been done. Maybe we could make him a woman and call her Numero Una.
Okay, so what did you find with the numbers? What have you crunched?
Okay, what did I crunch with the numbers? So I had 19 supporters, 286 views, and 9 shares. So I had a 15% view to sign ratio. So my Joe Exotic campaign has got a little bit more support than my EU invasion campaign. But I've come up with a new metric, homeboy. Are you excited?
I am. Go on, tell me.
My share to support ratio was 2.1. So for every time I shared the link to my petition, I got 2 supporters. So that's presumably, if I'd shared it 50 times, I would have got that magic 100.
Okay, well, that's what you need to do this week, then.
I've realised a bit of a problem, though.
Go on.
I wanted to get some more late votes, but I couldn't share the link again because it would mean that I'd have to redo my maths.
Yeah. And nobody wants that.
No, because I just had to cling on with 19 and hope for the best overnight on Tuesday. So I thought this podcast would be fun. It just basically, it's me for an hour every week with a calculator.
And that's it. Well, you did. I mean, you got to 19. Like I said, spectacularly stalled on 6. I think it went up to 7 when the bloke that I was at the barbecue with, when Bono flew past, I basically harangued him into signing the petition. And that was it. That's all I got this week was 7. But I think it's because, as I said, I focused my attention on Reddit. And actually on there, I got an additional 20 upvotes for my campaign on Reddit, which would take me well beyond you, because like I said, I put all of the campaigns that we've been talking about on there. I might have forgotten one.
Would it be my one for this week, Mark?
I might have forgotten to put Joe Exotic on there. Well, at least to begin with, I stuck it on there late last night just so that I could say that I had put it on. And you got 6. You got 6.
Oh, okay.
That still makes me a winner, right?
Oh, does it? Oh, okay. How convenient.
No, I think we agreed, didn't we, that we're not going to count extra votes. We did put a Twitter poll up again this week, but the people of Twitter shall from here on in be known as the fence sitters, because every time we put a Twitter poll on, it comes back exactly 50-50 with votes for yours and votes for mine. How
strange that Twitter kind of has this equilibrium, because I would have thought Twitter is rabidly one way or the other. I suppose that evens it out, actually, doesn't it? I do think your biggest mistake was that Taylor Swift fan base, though. I think you're right, they could see through your ruse. They thought you were treating her flippantly, and they couldn't just shake it off.
Well, I have to tell you, here's the thing, right? As I said, I got 20 votes on that. 8 of them came from our own Reddit, where I posted it on there. And the other 12 came from Worship Taylor Swift on Reddit. Although I did look just before we started recording this and got a little message that said, your post has been taken down by the moderators of this page. So I guess those 12 votes no longer count.
They no longer count. It's got to be chains.org, unfiltered, uncut chains.org signatures. I think what you should have done was you should have embraced the sort of the lower echelons of American society, the flip side. Because my Midwest, deep South American Joe Exotic fans, they just saw the words free Joe Exotic and they were like, what did I find, dagnabbit? He's my boy. Get him out of the jail.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that might be where I've gone wrong. So it's another win to you. Congratulations. Well done on that. But I am very, very confident this week. I think I've got the answer. I think I know where I've been going wrong. And this week is my week. I'm going to pull it back. I'm 4-1 down, but this is my week.
I love the confidence. It's absolutely brilliant, Mark. That's what we need. We need a battle here. Come on, mate. Just believe in yourself. You've got a new haircut. Make Mark great again. What
have you found this week when you've been surfing through the ocean of change and finding out some of the name campaigns that are already up there?
Well, we haven't had a change whack in a while. A change whack, if you can't remember, is the concept where you put something into change.org, a word of some description, and you return no hits whatsoever. I put the term catgut into change.org. You know the string for tennis rackets?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No one wants to change that in any way. There's no opinions on that at all. They are very happy with its tensile strength when it's taut and pulled across a tennis racket. Very happy with its production. No issues with that plastic or catgut ending up in the sea.
Not to be too pedantic, right, but I need to pull you up on your definition of a change whack. Because surely the idea for a change whack came from Dave Gorman's Google whack, right? Where you put 2 words into Google, it has to return just one search result.
Oh, no. I've been calling stuff change whacks when they're not. They're just no search results.
They're just of no interest to anyone whatsoever. And that's why they haven't been put on change, because they're not even inanely interesting.
Do you know Jimmy Kimmel, the talk show host in America? Somebody has put on change.org, stop using this site to spread dumb petitions. And it was Jimmy Kimmel live started the petition to obviously change.org, because you have to put You have to direct your petition to a person or an organization. Jimmy Kimmel went on change.org, directed this at change.org, and he said, change.org should be used for important subjects. When creating a petition, ask yourself, is this dumb? If the answer is yes, do not create the petition. Go watch YouTube. Jimmy Kimmel is effectively the antichrist of this podcast.
Yeah, he is not going to be happy with us at all. Not at all. Although, ironically, the only place that I've ever seen Jimmy Kimmel is on YouTube. So maybe it's just a ploy to get more people to watch him on YouTube.
That is the trick. That's clearly what this calculating, devious man is doing. Please sign and share this petition against dumb petitions. Together we can make America less stupid. I don't think he sees the irony.
I don't think he stands a chance either.
No, we're going to ignore Jimmy Kimmel. Or, I tell you what we should do. I want Jimmy Kimmel to find out about this podcast. Yeah. Imagine if we could get this podcast on Jimmy Kimmel.
He'd be furious with us, though. I'm not sure that it's surely supposed to be quite a friendly, happy-go-lucky kind of thing, not just us getting told off by Jimmy Kimmel for messing about on change.org. And I think it is worth saying at this point, we have said in the past, and we will say it again, we absolutely respect the good work that Change does. And it is a very, very important tool for making a difference to a lot of people and a lot of lives. And it's an excellent thing that should be held up and used for those things. But it's also a lot of fun to go and mess about, isn't it? And go and point out some of the sillier things that people are talking about.
Absolutely. What have you seen then?
All right, so there was a couple of things. Firstly, and I think this is a good idea, it was basically, I can't even remember what they titled it because I haven't written it down exactly because it was quite badly worded, but it was basically trying to find a new system for deciding who should be the Prime Minister of our country. They don't think the general elections are working, and with the last few Prime Ministers, I have to say, I'd be inclined to agree with them. So I much prefer this system that they've come up with. It says this: for a party leader to run for Prime Minister, they must first take part in a special of Gladiators UK, Ninja Warrior UK, or Total Wipeout UK. And only the winner can run for Prime Minister. And I think that makes sense, doesn't it? And here was the comment that really sold me. There was quite a lot of comments on this, but the one that really sold me was, we need a Prime Minister made of steel. Let's break the weak and reforge the empire. Long live Britannia.
Wow. I mean, this is worryingly, it kind of feels a little bit like Hitler's idea for the Aryan race, doesn't it? Like this prime physical specimen is the only person that should be in charge of something.
Yeah, but the people who fail aren't going to be put into the showers or anything like that. They're going to end up on a crash mat. It's a slightly different, or in a pool of water like in Wipeout or whatever it is on Ninja Warrior. What happens? Oh, that's water too, isn't it? You end up in a pool of water. I think that's a slightly better way for people to fall down, but we still find the fittest, the strongest, the most suitable candidates to run the country are the people that get through what is basically an oversized obstacle course.
It's certainly one set of criteria. What about intelligence? What about leadership? What about political dynamism? What about a manifesto?
I would point to you the last few prime ministers that we've had as evidence that that approach is not really working.
That's a fair point, very well made. Let's get the obstacle course wheeled out.
Here's a thought that I had. If you were going to have politicians as gladiators, what would be the gladiator names that you gave them?
Okay. I'm just trying to think.
Here's a couple that I came up with just while you're having a little think about it. So I think Boris Johnson, clearly Bulldog. And
yes.
I think he'd be happy with that. I think that's exactly how he sees himself, as a gladiator called Bulldog. That would be perfect for him.
Bulldog chewing a wasp.
No, I think he considers himself a happy-go-lucky kind of chap with all his little jokes about, Operation Last Gasp and all that, his well-meaning little quips. Michael Gove, Weasel.
Good. Yeah, I've got another one from Michael Gove that I just thought of. A similar sort of line, similar family of animals. Michael Gove could just be mole rat.
Okay, yeah.
You ever seen a mole rat?
No, I haven't, but I got an impression of what it looks like just from your little gesture there, to be honest.
Oh, mole rats are horrible. Look it up after the show. It is,
So that was that. I think that's not a bad idea. I think that maybe we could run with that. Let's try it. Let's see if it works. Anyway, let's just have the next Prime Minister. We'll stick them on forget the live debates. We don't need to bother about that anymore. Get rid of Dimbleby or whoever it is that does it now. We don't need to bother with that. We'll just get Ben Shepherd, Chris Kamara, and have them fight it out as gladiators and see what happens.
We'll get them two to fight it out as gladiators.
I don't want either Ben Shepherd or Chris Kamara running the country, to be honest.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, given who we've got currently. Either of those get my vote.
I've also got this one. I said earlier that I got lost looking for one particular guy, and I put in the name Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There are hundreds of petitions about Elon Musk. Appropriately, for last week, Elon Musk for president. Some of them arrest Elon Musk. And there was some of the things about, the nasty tweets that he's put out and how he should be held to account. But these were some of the more mental ones that I found, right? There were loads. But I want to play a little game with you, Andy. Right? I want to play a little game of higher or lower. So I'm going to tell you a campaign that involves Elon Musk, and I want you to tell me whether it got a higher or lower support than than the last one. Right?
I'm loving this game already, Mark. Play your cards right on chains.org.
You ready? Okay, so first one, you're going to have to just guess a number for this because there's nothing to go higher or lower.
Okay.
Elon Musk to start genetically engineering cat girls.
Oh, you got to think that's going to be high on the internet. I reckon that's at least in the thousands. I'm going to say 3,257.
You have gone high there. You have gone high. Right? I'll tell you.
Well, if you're going to go big.
Go big or go home. I'll tell you this before I tell you the number. It's the comment that I found. There were loads of comments. Some of them I can't really read out on here because the whole cat girl thing got a little bit wrong, to be honest.
Oh dear.
But this was a good comment. It's because cat girls are the best humanoid beings that humans have invented. Dolphins are better, though.
Well, I mean, just again, you might want to park that there. Who knows why they prefer dolphins? I'm scared.
I was scared, yeah. What did you say in terms of numbers then? 3,000 and something?
3,257 to be precise.
Okay, you're a little bit over the top there. That got 648 signatures.
648. Do you know what? I knew it was going to be high, though, because the internet is just awash with strange little men.
It's a messed up place, isn't it? All right, so what do you think then? Do you think that this one was higher or lower than 648? Elon Musk must debate with David Icke.
Oh, wow, that's tough because, again, the internet is full of weird little men, conspiracy theorists crawling out of the woodwork thinking that 5G causes coronavirus. I reckon I'm going to go higher.
You think that was higher than 648?
Yeah, man.
It was actually lower. It was lower by 300. That got 348 signatures on that. Right.
Still higher than anything that we've come up with. And I reckon some of our campaigns have way more merit than this nonsense.
It was massively higher than anything we've come up with. And it is, as you say, completely bonkers. All right, here we go. Elon Musk should send the Flat Earth Society president into space.
That is a great petition. That is somebody we need to get on the podcast.
Would you support that petition? Would you sign it?
Oh, absolutely. Anything that can rip the veil from people's eyes and let them see the fundamental truth of the roundness of our world. I'm all for that sort of thing. Crazy as that may be, that you would want to have to do that. I think that's going to be higher than 348.
You think that's higher? It was higher. Well done. That got 1,698 signatures.
That is huge.
It is huge. So we should get that person on the podcast, not just because of their brilliant sense of humour, but also so they can give us some pointers about how to actually get some support for their petitions.
Just have them in as a one-off, not as a recurring guest who plays every week, because we're toast.
Nobody wants that, yeah.
I got 19. How many did you get? I got 2,000, thanks.
All right, one last one then. We're at 1,698. Can we top that with this? Make Elon Musk make Pokemon real.
Make Elon Musk make. Again, people love Pokemon on the internet. Like, there is a rabid Nintendo fan base for the likes of Pikachu and Charizard, and that's the only two that I know. Jigglypuff, was that another one? I'm gonna say higher.
I'm afraid you've lost, Andy. You've lost everything. You don't get the car. You don't get the speedboat, whatever it is that you were supposed to win. You're going home with absolutely nothing, because that petition got 42 signatures.
Oh, it deserved so much more than 42.
Didn't it? I was quite surprised by that. I thought that Pokemon would be more popular.
Yeah, man. Yeah, kids love Pokemon. Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Green, Polka Dot, whatever. Just stick another colour on it, stick another pattern on it. Nintendo make bank again.
So that's it. That's the end of the Elon Musk higher or lower game. Unlucky, you lose.
I love that game, though. That's got to make an appearance at another point. Not just Elon Musk, but higher or lower.
Absolutely.
Play your petitions right. Play your campaigns right.
There you go. That's
play your campaigns right. We'll get some of the inners. We'll get some of the inners on to play your campaigns right.
And we'll get Tim working on a little jingle for it. That'll be great.
Oh, that'd be ace, man. I'd love that. One more thing that I found on change.org this week. I simply put the word spider into change.org and seen what came up. And a bit like you with Elon Musk, everyone's got an opinion on spiders, don't they?
Yeah, I imagine that there was lots of ban spiders, get rid of spiders, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The very first one that I came across was simply kill all spiders. And he just put, in all caps locks, let's make the Queen kill all spiders so we can live in peace and harmony. And there's a picture of a grandmother with a gun as well.
So he was what? He was petitioning the Queen and decided to give her a gun.
Well, she's been at a loose end recently. He must have seen her way of action and thought, I'm sure she could handle a firearm. But then I went further down. I thought I need to go elsewhere on change.org. I need to go further into the web of the spiders here. This person has kind of gone the other way, and they are petitioning a senator called Al Franken. He basically wants to give spiders all the help they need to eat every human on Earth within a year. And he's put, it's reported today by the Washington Post that spiders could eat every human on Earth within a year. We, the undersigned, are certain that spiders are doing the best they can, but it's clear they could use some help. We call on the government of the United States to utilize whatever resources it deems necessary and effective to help spiders in their noble cause.
I think Jimmy Kimmel had a point.
The last spider one, and you'll like this because I know you like this sort of petition, Mark. You're a real fan of this sort of petition. What did they want to do with spiders, Mark?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't realise that I had a petition type. I didn't realise that you had me that nailed on.
You and I both like this petition, but this sort of petition, but I think you like this petition more. They want to rename Black Widow spiders to danger bow ties.
Ah, of course. Yeah. What danger? What?
Danger bow ties. They've put, it's 2018. We have danger noodles.
We do.
Spicy boys. And doggos. But Black Widow spiders are still just Black Widow spiders. We need to rename Black Widow spiders to danger bow ties so we can finally have equality.
Well, that's fair. I think that's fair. Although it is going to put into jeopardy a whole load of formal occasions, isn't it, where people are turning up. It just conjures up an image of like a function with a load of spiders just going mad.
Just tarantulas, but they're just there on people, just sort of dangling their furry legs.
Yeah, but I'm just picturing the scene where there's like some kind of spider signal that at a particular moment they all just jump off and then just start eating all the humans in the room to fulfill the last petition.
I like it. Where when petitions collide.
That's the ultimate, I guess. That's what we're really looking for.
Okay, so what about your campaign for this week then, Mark?
All right, so shall I tell you the ones that I didn't want to go with first? I had a few ideas of things that I could do. I took the Elon Musk thing and just ran with it because obviously he's an influential man that people want to see him making a change. I thought Elon Musk could just create real Transformers.
I mean, Michael Bay's Transformer movies, when they came out, I was like, oh, yeah, that's amazing. And then I remembered I wasn't 7 and watched the movie and was like, oh, rubbish. But yeah, I mean, real Transformers I can get on board with.
That's what you want. I mean, imagine if you were just driving down the motorway, you get stuck in a bit of traffic, just pop out, stand yourself on the hard shoulder and watch it turn itself into a robot that blows away all the traffic in front of you.
Yes, or what it needs to be able to do is not transform from a car into like a big humanoid massive robot. It needs to change from a car to a plane, which is a bit James Bond-esque, but it needs to have 3 states. I will allow the Transformer to be a big robot, a car, and a plane.
I think the robot thing's important. I think that we've got to allow the robot thing. I mean, imagine that. You're walking through sometimes you come out of a gig late at night, your car's in a dark car park. It can be a little bit intimidating, particularly if there's other people there. How much more secure would you feel if you knew that at any moment your car could just turn itself into Optimus Prime? Well, it wouldn't be Optimus Prime because that's a lorry, isn't it? But, Bumblebee, and just start kicking the ass of anybody who is making a threat to you in any kind of way.
Love it.
But I did feel that Elon Musk had a bit too much attention on change, so I wanted to go down a different route. Now, here's an interesting thing. As you said, we basically peddle these campaigns everywhere we can think of on the internet, and that involves on our own social media. And I have found that is largely to no effect whatsoever. And this week, as you noticed, I've had my hair cut. But before I did, I put a picture of just how out of hand it had got and how out of control my hair had got. It got like 50 likes, that picture. And I thought, where are these people when I'm putting my inane campaigns up? And I realised it's because we're putting stuff that's stupid that they don't care about. There's no personal connection. They want to see something that's actually going to affect them, or more importantly, affect us, right? So I was going to run with this because I was thinking back to last week. I thought this would be a great campaign. Make Andy Gleeks sit in a bath of custard.
Oh, no. I think you may have hit upon something Genius.
Yeah, well, I think that people would be more up for that. And I know a lot of people that you know through the wonder of Facebook. And I thought, if nothing else, it would be a really interesting experiment to just see how many of those people would quite like to see you covered in yellow goop.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not your campaign for this week.
Well, it was going to be. It really was going to be. It was so close to being the one that I went with. But I think I've come up with something slightly better. But be aware, and this might affect how hard you campaign this week. If it doesn't work this week and I still lose, I'm definitely going back to that one next week, and that will be my campaign.
Oh, no.
And I think
and again, I wouldn't be submerged in the custard. We've been through this. I would float on top of the custard. So it'll just be me in my swimming shorts, my pasty Irish skinny body just sat on a big block of yellow.
But I want your word that if I run that campaign next week and I win with it, that you will follow through and sit in a bath of custard. I'll supply the custard.
Only if it's squirty custard. You need to get Anchor to bring back the squirty custard to get me to get in a bath of that custard. No, I will. If you can win with that campaign next week, or you want to go back to it at any point, I will get in a bath of custard.
All right, but you're safe for now, because I'm not going to run with that this week. I'm not going to go with it.
Good.
What have you ruled out this week?
Okay. Weirdly, that you were talking about robots and Transformers, I put that all humanoid robots that get made must look like Robert Patrick in Terminator 2 to remind us that eventually they will come for us and kill us.
Yes, I think that is fair. They're getting insane now, aren't they? The amount of stuff that these robots are doing.
I just think with the technology getting the way it's getting, I think we need a reminder that robots cannot be trusted. And what better reminder than that face of that robot from Terminator 2? Mate, you must have seen Terminator 2. I know you don't watch stuff, but you must have seen Terminator 2.
I'm very, very, very pleased to tell you that, yes, I have seen Terminator 2.
Yay! Mark's seen a film that other people have seen. Well done. I just think, do you know the bit where Arnie rings John Connor's house to check on, he has a suspicion that, the robot has got to John Connor's house, and he hangs up the phone and he just goes, "Your foster parents are dead."
Yeah.
I just think that's an important warning that should act as a siren call throughout history. And the only way we can do that is to make any robots look like Robert Patrick from Terminator 2. But anyway, not going to go with that. The other one that I wanted to do was I want Paul Scholes, ex-Man United footballer. I just want him to be crowned official king of the gingers. For no other reason than he's a ginger man and he's fairly high profile to some degree because he still does punditry, I think, on BT Sport and stuff. And I just think, is there another ginger-haired man that you can think that's more high profile than him that most people like?
Well, I would have said Steve Davis. I think Steve Davis should be king of the gingers.
But he's barely got any hair left.
No, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Well, firstly, it went grey, and now it's kind of gone completely.
Yeah, I think you can allow bald people in. If they were once gingers, they can't be crowned official king of the erstwhile gingers.
I'll tell you who's going to have to win the crown for me. I don't think it can be Paul Scholes, partly because he was a Man United legend, and I couldn't possibly do anything to support that. But I think you've missed a very important ginger who did a lot to highlight the plight of gingers and therefore deserves the crown.
Go on.
Tim Minchin.
Yeah. He is a good ginger. Absolutely. Sings funny songs. He's got, he's a nice bloke. He's got his heart in the right place. He wrote Matilda in the West End, didn't he? but he didn't play in the midfield for England, and he couldn't score crackers from corner kicks, big volleys like Paul Scholes did against Bradford. Do you remember that one, Mark?
I don't remember that one, no, but I do remember a whole load of great goals from always from a long way out. He was no goal poacher, was he, Scholes? He always banged them in from about 30 yards. But I think that Tim Minchin has turned his hand to so many different things that if you did put him in midfield, he'd probably score a couple of crackers there as well.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he's Australian, let's not forget. Australians are not good at football.
There's only ever been Harry Kewell. That's it. The only good Australian. Oh, and Tim Cahill.
Carrie Hewell? I don't know who Carrie Hewell is. Let's get him on the podcast. Carrie Hewell. Why should you be king of the gingers? Harry Kewell and Tim Cahill. He was the other one that I was about to interrupt you and say. But anyway, so I don't. All right, you've effectively made me rethink who could be king of the gingers. Maybe that can be a competition on the podcast. Write in and tell us who should be king of the gingers. inanepod@gmail.com, or find us on the socials. Okay, last one. I want couriers, like Hermes, like DX, you know what a courier is, Mark? Do you want
Thanks for that.
I want couriers to play trumpets when they arrive to deliver your parcel.
Yes. Now that is good. I like that.
Because I think it might give you a fighting chance of opening the door to find your parcel there. I just thought it would have been a nice idea because it would have brought a bit of medieval pizzazz to neighbourhoods.
There's very little more exciting than getting a parcel delivered to your house that's for you. I mean, it happens so rarely to me. Whenever parcels turn up at my door, they are 95% of the time for my wife, 4% of the time for my kids, and then 1% of the time there might be something for me. But yeah, I would quite happily take in parcels for other people if it was accompanied by walking out to an actual fanfare from the delivery driver.
You won't know that, Mark, because that trumpet tune is from films.
I was just going to say it would be even more exciting if I thought that I was suddenly starring in a film as it happened, but you beat me to the punch.
Okay, let's hear what's your actual campaign.
All right. Okay, so as I said earlier, I realised where I've been going wrong with this, because I've been doing these silly campaigns that actually mean nothing to anybody. Whereas what people really want us to do is to fight for a cause, isn't it? They want us to do something that is meaningful, that's going to make a difference in the world. And I think I have hit that. I've hit the pay dirt with that. And I've got the campaign that is going to get people wanting to support it. Finally.
Just read it, Mark. Let's have it.
Okay. Here we go. Much progress has been made in the drive to eradicate sexism in the 21st century. It's now widely accepted that patriarchy is thankfully a thing of the past, and we have true equality regardless of gender. We've made huge steps forward that mean women aren't just expected to stay at home, bake cakes and raise the children. Now they can put the bins out too. On the flip side, men can now hoover and still retain their masculinity, thanks largely to Freddie Mercury. And it doesn't hurt for them to take the kids to the park on a Sunday afternoon rather than spend it in the pub leering at the single barmaid and discussing the best way to drain a diesel engine. In short, regardless of whether you have a PP or a foo-foo, you should be treated fairly, and women now have the chance to do whatever job they want, just as long as they don't want to be paid the same as men. If men are from Mars and women are from Venus, isn't it fitting that we found common ground on Earth and now live in harmony together? But there is a stark reminder of the darker days that looms just off the coast of Britain, and it's time we did something about it. If we're truly to call a ceasefire in the battle of the sexes, we need to rename the Isle of Man the Isle of Person. In fact, let's not stop there. The capital of the island of Bloke is Douglas, a masculine name if ever we heard one. And we should look for something a little more gender fluid. The Isle of Person with the capital of Leslie. Surely that's far more inclusive, right? It is without doubt a wonderful place with lots going for it. You know, loads of stuff like motorbike races and cats with no tails and a big water wheel. It would be a shame if all of that was forgotten and it was forever thought of as the epicenter of a sexist scandal. It's got plenty to be proud of too. It's the home of the Bee Gees, and they did their bit for battling sexism by being an all-male band who sang like girls. So let's make sure that this island is for everyone. We'll rename it in a manner that allows us to celebrate equality, and then we can tackle the Isle of Wight.
Which, of course, is, in the current climate, is got to be renamed the Isle of Black Lives Matter.
There you go. But I'm not tackling the Isle of Wight. That's for later. I'm interested in gender equality. Let's rename the Isle of Man the Isle of Person.
Mate, I love that. And the reason why I love it is I've been to the Isle of Man. I'm not going to go into it here, but remember I told you a story about my time in the Isle of Man. Can you remember that one?
No, you're going to have to remind me.
I'll remind you, but I'm not going to remind you on the podcast because that one goes... Remember that Catholic guilt I was talking about Maradona earlier? That one is pure Catholic guilt. Yeah, you'll remember when I tell you. But anyway, that's for me and you. And the listeners will be like, what's the story?
Tell us the story.
Tell us. One day I'll tell the story, but it is not this day.
So next week, just in case, right, my campaign's going to be get Andy Gleeks to tell the Isle of Man story.
I'm keeping that for an Edinburgh show, mate. It's too good. It's too good.
Look, let's be real. Let's be real for a minute on the Inane Campaign podcast. If we don't do this, if we don't make this happen, how can we ever seriously talk about equality in the future?
We just can't, mate. We have to do it. I will even vote for your campaign. That's how much I want the world to be a gender equal, truly, a truly cohesive, sharing society.
So that's me. That's what I'm going with. What am I up against?
Okay. Let's see if you can figure it out. Thousands of comedians travel up and down the country every non-pandemic weekend to lift our spirits, make us forget our issues for 2 brief hours, not including the intervals for fag toilet and drink breaks, and they allow us to laugh until we vomit. Stacey from Sunderland, I'm looking at you. £1.74 billion has been pledged to the arts, theatre, opera, and whatever else they train you for at RADA. Nothing specifically has been pledged to comedy, which brings in 4 times as much money as the Premier League. In brackets, I may have made that up. On one hand, you have whiny, misogynist prima donnas with fragile self-esteem, but on the other, footballers simply don't do as high-quality jokes. Why is no money being given specifically to comedy? Because Conservatives aren't funny, and they haven't been since Winston Churchill. The only time Conservatives laugh is in Parliament when they vote to cut benefits again. Rishi Sunak seems like he might actually get it, though. He has actually made some decisions which some people on the left and the centre have been led to believe that actual human blood might run through his veins. But he has left comedians behind. If Britain is ever going to truly get back on its feet again and feel good about themselves after this pandemic, stand-up comedians asking people their profession, fingers crossed after this we all still have one, that needs to be part of this process. Furthermore, service station food at extortionate prices won't buy itself. If we keep comedians off the road, we are harming a valuable part of our nighttime economy. Who else is going to buy a reheated bacon bap at Clackett Lane services at 1:30 in the morning if comedy goes under? truck drivers can only do so much. But Rishi Sunak doesn't understand, because Rishi Sunak has never been to a comedy club. Why would he if he has those ears? There has never been a more obvious visual target for a comedian since a man wore a lumberjack shirt in the front row. Brokeback Mountain, hilarious! The only way we're going to get Rishi Sunak to actually understand what comedy involves is for him to go through the hard graft of trialing jokes, performing previews to a hostile group of 3 people above a pub in Mansfield, and then taking his debut show, nice Tory, ? Seems a bit rishy to me, up to Edinburgh, only for it to be roundly ignored by the elite publication that is Broadway Baby. And his own monetary outlay bringing the show up will mean he will never be able to replace that £200 coffee cup 150 times over, especially if he opts for a place at the Pleasance Courtyard. Only then will Rishi Sunak understand the pain of the comic artist. Only then will Rishi Sunak divert some money to get Britain laughing again. Rishi Sunak can put a smile on everyone's face by putting down his briefcase and getting on the M6. Who knows, he may end up saving the comedy circuit, and he could then truly lay claim to becoming the only right-wing comedian in the UK.
Yes. Yes, I love that. I was a bit torn for a minute because I was a bit worried, because I know this week the amount of worry that's going around comedians, and I know the campaigning that they're already doing to try and get some of that funding that you were talking about from the government to be diverted towards comedy and not just go into some of the other art forms that are perhaps a little bit more classical, shall we say. And I thought you would, for a minute, I doubted you. I apologise, Andy. I doubted you for a minute and thought that you were just going to piggytail on the back of an existing campaign and blow me out of the water by just getting every single comedian that you or I know to back the idea to give some money to comedians, which of course they're going to support. But the idea of Rishi Sunak going out and doing stand-up comedy and taking a show to Edinburgh is absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. When I come up with it, I was like, ah.
And if he needs some help about what it's like to be on the first steps of being a comedian and taking a show up to Edinburgh, I know an excellent documentary that he can watch, available on Amazon Prime. A1, The Long Road to Edinburgh.
Mate, the hustle never ends.
One question, though, that did come out of your pitch, which was beautifully constructed and clearly something that you should be very, very proud of. Who's Stacey from Sunderland?
She's made up. She is made up. Art license.
I really had visions of you gigging in Sunderland and some woman on the front row being sick.
I'm not driving up to Sunderland to do a gig. It's miles away.
All right, so what we'll do then, we'll put those on to Change. We'll get those up and running so that people can vote for them. We'll plaster them everywhere on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter. We'll do the Twitter polls. We'll do the Reddit bits. But we won't count any of those votes towards the final score. So it's only people who care enough about these campaigns to actually go on Change, click the button, support the petition, that we will accept towards this competition.
I think now that we've got our little Reddit community and, you know, people are starting to listen more to the podcast and stuff, I think if they spot any campaigns that they want us to talk talk about, then they should hit us up on Inane Campaign pod on Facebook, at Inane Pod on Twitter, inanepod@gmail.com, or you can find the Reddit, which is presumably Inane Campaigns.
Exactly that, yeah. So basically, we're everywhere. Just shout and we will hear you. But yeah, if you've got campaigns that you want us to talk about on here, or if you want to start your own campaign and get our help to push it out to our listeners, both of them, then then please do let us know what campaigns you want to run, and also go and have a look. We'll put all the links to these ones that we've talked about on the Reddit page, and then people can back them if they want to back them, but don't back the Danger Bow Ties one, because we don't want that to happen.
No, the world needs to fix itself before we get engulfed by crazy spiders. Let's push on through. Let's solve climate change. Let's get through coronavirus first, solve climate change, and then we can have a battle with spiders.
Then we'll worry about the bad stuff. Anyway, listen, thank you very much for this. It's been a lot of fun tonight. I've really enjoyed it.
Always a pleasure, buddy.
All right, I'll catch you next week. Take it easy, man. See you next week.
See ya. Bye.